Yes, people, it's Lloyd Haynes here, and you're watching Randoms on WALKERMEDIA. Cool, so I'm a UK recording artist. I'm also a multi-international DJ and producer. And yeah, I'm happy to be here right now and chatting with you, man. I'd say that it's difficult to talk about what I favour more, man, but I mean, I've always come from the beat making background. Originally, I was a singer-songwriter as a kid. Then I went into beat making, and electronic music was my thing before even focusing on hip hop, rap, R&B. But then over time, I realized that because I've made beats for so many other people, I've been able to make beats my own way, the way that I really want them to. And I often take them to, if it's in Wales, then I take them to Hefty, who's one of my engineers. And if it's in London, then I take it to Rich, or Rich 552 Music. Hit him up, he's one of the best in the game. And I've been doing a lot of co-producing with him recently. Just had one back today that we've sent off to some artists over where you're actually in the States. So yeah, lots of exciting projects there. So I'd say that production and recording they're a dualism, they're very intertwined with one another. And I think that being an artist, you need to be as all-rounded as possible. Performance, production, you need to lend your ear to engineering at sometimes, and you need to be a producer of people as well, not just of beats but of people. So putting people in the same room, getting the best energy out of your session instrumentalists, getting the best energy out of your engineer, getting the best energy out of your audience. So it's a case of being a bit of a master of all the trades, really. UK is sick, man. We love it here in the UK. This summer I actually spent it outside the UK, more so in Europe. I was in Greece for 3 months, so performing over there, doing a lot of DJing and a lot of hosting and MCing, which was sick. But I'm glad to be back, right now, man. I live in Cardiff, but I live half the week in London as well. As you all already know, London is like the epicenter of UK music right now. And I feel like the US has finally got on board with a lot of the UK music scene. You look at people like Johnny Choi, who's really pioneered the drill sound in US sort of modern hip hop. So I feel like we're making our statement finally, for sure. Yeah, okay, cool. So Matrix was an embodiment of a lot of self-discovery, to be honest with you. It was my first tape, so I wanted to make sure that it hit hard. I'm already 40% done on my second tape, and I've got a bunch of singles out in the meantime, starting from midnight tonight, actually. And Matrix really was a case of sort of getting started with people almost taking my art form seriously. I feel like for a long time that's not been the case, but it's never sort of windled me the other way. It's never pushed me to not do what I love to do. And I think if you do what you love and you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So it's super important to always follow that art and always follow your heart. And that's exactly what I did with this tape. It's got a mixture of interludes, so instrumentals only. It's got a mixture of house music. It's got a mixture of melodic. It's got a mixture of sort of breakbeat. It's also got your hip hop. It's got your R&B flows. It's got your heavier rap and your UK rap flows. It's probably my most versatile work to date, and that's why This Is 50 said that themselves. When they did a review, they said themselves that it's a very versatile piece. And there's a lot of sort of twists and turns on the way. If you listen to No Love, it wasn't meant to be a standout track to the tape, but if you listen to that, it's ended up being a standout track among everyone, and it's because of the fact that it changes so harshly. An R&B lo-fi sounding track shouldn't really turn into a much darker, sort of ominous, eerie kind of an almost high energy track that it does, halfway through in the beat switch. But the reason that I did that is because the things that I talk about in the lyricism is talking about, it says lately I've not been myself. I've been running around in some maze and trying to work out my life. And so for that reason, I wanted it to show the almost like sort of bipolar mind that life can create in young men. And throughout the tape, that's important. Mental health has been a standout thing in the entire tape. That's why Men Don't Cry talks about the fact that, men don't cry and we need to talk about it more. So there's multiple narratives to it, but they all go to one common goal for sure, and that's simply to love what you do and to really embrace life to the full. For the visuals itself, yeah, the visuals were inspired through a sort of trippiness and a sort of LSD as acid vibe kind of nature to it. I wanted to get that across, whilst also, doing it on a sort of major key beat. So I did it in a way that seemed happy and go lucky, but if you listen to the lyricism, it's talking about something much darker than that. So it's, again, finding those two paradigms and making them work against each other for a good sonically sounding track. Yeah, that's right. So what I found is that a majority of my following, despite being from the UK, I've got a lot in London, of course, but there's definitely a big proportion of US following, and that's why collaborations that I've got for the next year are literally, I think 90% with US artists actually, which is crazy. Working with Frequency coming up, and a couple of other guys that I can't say too much about yet, but it's been crazy to see the impact that UK music can have on US culture. I'm really proud to be sort of flying the flag for my own very unique sound. I can confidently say there's not many from the UK at all doing the kind of vibe that I'm on, and I love my more commercial UK rap guys just as much as the next person, but I just recognize that that's not me. I've recognized that I take inspiration from a lot of other cultures, and I think that countries outside of the UK are noticing that before the UK does, which is interesting, but I'm sure that I'll get my home soil on my side at some point. There was one article not long ago that I had a random email notification saying I've just reviewed your track, and I was like, who's this guy? So I had a look, and a certain feature basically referred it to, and I didn't put these words in their mouth by the way, referred it to the likes of Post Malone and the likes of Six Lack. Now Six Lack was a big compliment for me because I'm a massive Six Lack, or as many call him, simply Black fan, and I always have been. I think that my other half has been a big influence of that, to be fair, over the years. And yeah, I'd say that my inspirations definitely lie with him, and then also Joyner Lucas, massively. And it's weird because I see Joyner as this massive goat, right, in the game. Like, he's moving independently, he's moving in ways which are so slick, a lot like Russ actually, in an independent sense, but in a way that's so slick, like is the fact that he founded or being part of the founding team of Tully, which is now a massive music creation distribution app worldwide, is incredible. The fact that he brings artists through competitions and challenges on TikTok onto his live tour with him. I'm talking to a couple of guys. I'm actually collabing with a couple of guys who are on his tour now, which is insane because I'm waking up in the morning asking them how they've been, and they're like, yeah man, I'm just on tour with Joyner. I'm like, what? That's insane. So somebody like him is definitely a big inspiration as well, I'd say, and I don't think he's talked about enough in the UK, really. Stance on entrepreneurship is that it's a tough old game. I've been self-employed for the last 4 years, I think it is now, and yeah, it's been maybe 3-4 years, and it's been a tough road for sure. There's peaks and troughs. It'll definitely test your resilience, but I think that if you're a musician, naturally you are in a game of sales because you are trying to get people to stream your music, albeit for free. Effectively, it still costs them a subscription and it costs them their time, and ultimately royalties don't pay much, so you've got to do it for the love of it. But even so, there's still many business moves involved. You see, that's why people's features are going up in cost all the time, because they've recognized that there's a need for that. They've recognized that there's a need to up the performance fees. The economy of music is ever changing, so you've got to be ahead of that trend. So yeah, business aligns with music all day long. Any advice to the audience generally, no matter what you are doing, take pride and take ownership of the music that you listen to, the art forms that you delve into. Know that they're not just created for the artist, they're created with you in mind, and to soak in that energy really and use it along your way for the better. Yeah, so tonight, midnight, I got my first single drop in after the tape. It's called B, and it's made in mind of, if you listen to the lyrics, it's made in mind of my manager who's actually gone back into prison, and it's the everlasting day of, you know, a previous offender not truly being accepted back into normal life again. You know, when you're on life license, it's a crazy thing. Any tiny little thing you do marginally wrong, you're back inside. So it tells a story of that, because it's been a hard few months. You know, I've been away in Europe playing, and the whole time I've had to manage myself, which is something that I had done for me before. So it's been kind of crazy, and I know that may sound very entitled. I don't mean it to be, because I've run big teams and run myself my whole life. But when things start going a little bit crazy and you need that helping hand, you know, when it's not then, it was there before, it can be kind of crazy. So, and aside from that, on a friendship basis, on a fundamental humanistic basis of two people, it's been very weird to spend most days with somebody and nights at these places, studio here, studio there till 4 in the morning, another studio. You know, we pulled all-nighters and then nothing, because he's gone back inside. So B, which is out tonight, midnight, tells that story in a briefer context. And yeah, I hope you like it. Yo, thank you, randoms at Walker Media. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. Look forward to having me back, hopefully in the next few years when things are going crazy. In the meantime, make sure to lock in. It's at Lloydie Haynes on all socials. That's LLOYDYHAINES. Big love. Peace.